John Lynch did an hour over the bye week with Kawakami, and he basically said, Purdy came up and he said, we really believe in this kid. I think he even said it multiple times. But then he said, he's got to protect the ball better, which is something I think we all know. Where are you right now with Purdy? Where do you think they are? You asked the question to Shanahan. He gave you the awkward silence and then kind of slapped it away. And they say things for effect sometimes. Sometimes they say things to send messages. Where are they with Brock? Where are you with Brock? How much of their struggles, how much of the 17 a game do you put on Brock?
He's the quarterback, and he's turning the ball over. Other players aren't turning the ball over. McCaffrey did. But he's a quarterback. He's turning the ball over. He gets a lot of it. I mean, am I writing him off? No. But we're really 13 games into his career. We're learning so much about him. Now, this is the first adversity he's really faced other than getting injured. How does he respond to it? Well, he hasn't ended the losing streak yet. So we're learning. Also, what is it like for him when he's down in the fourth quarter? Hadn't happened a lot to him because the team was so good. It was rolling. He's good when things are going well. He's good when he's leading. But when he's down 5, 10, 14 in the fourth quarter, what does he do? And the last few games, it's not just that he couldn't lead the comeback. He was turning the ball over. Like he was like giving it up. So does that mean that he's a choker? No. It just means that I have questions about him now that I didn't have a month ago. And if he loses another game, I don't see how you don't consider benching him, especially if they score 17 points and he commits multiple turnovers. Not saying that's going to happen, but it's within the realm of possibility. So I think a lot's at stake for Brock right now. And we're learning who he is. He's learning who he is.
Would you start him against Jacksonville, or if it was your call, would you start Darnold?
See, what I would have liked to do was start Darnold against Cincinnati and say, Brock isn't benched. He's just hurt. He has a concussion. We're going to go with Darnold. And then you can go into the bye week and sort of look at the tape and make a decision. But now you didn't do that. You didn't prepare Darnold to start. I mean, I guess at this point, I would start Purdy, I guess. But if he loses one more, I'd bench him.
What do you think Kyle
If he loses 35-34, I won't bench him. But if he loses 2017 and commits 2 turnovers, I'd bench him.
If the offense is not productive, you're benching.
Yes. 4 games in a row, I'm thinking like, man, you're in a slump. You need to go to the bench for a while, gather yourself, and let's see what we got in Sam Darnold. We can go back to you, but we gave you a month to figure this out, and you can't. So we'll see.
Lynch was really clear that he thinks they believe in Purdy, but he can't turn it over. Yeah. You kind of put Shanahan on the record with what are you going to do with Brock? So what's your guess on how long of a rope he has with Brock?
Well,
Brock
his answer was you don't bench a guy for no reason. And then John Lynch said, okay, we like him, but he has to stop turning the ball over. So the reason would be turnovers. And I guess I should have said that. He was just so upset by the question. I didn't want to make it a whole back and forth argument because it's not the point of everyone's there trying to ask questions. And I'm not trying to ruin it for people, but it's like, I could give you 6 reasons, man. What are you talking about? Reasons? The turnovers are the reason in the 4. So if he stops the turnovers and just manages the game and stops trying to do too much, checks it down, he'll be fine. But right now, it seems like he's down a little bit in the fourth quarter. He's trying to elevate his game and is going terribly. That's the way I see it.
If we have another game where, I thought he played well for 3 quarters, but you can't have 3 turnovers in 10 possessions in an NFL game. You just can't. You're going to lose every time.
It's better to be the guy who's bad for 3 quarters and then wins in the fourth than a guy who's good for 3 quarters and falls apart in a close fourth quarter. I'll take the first guy. That's Joe Montana. That's Russell Wilson. The guy who's good for 3 quarters and gives it up in the fourth, that's Steve DeBerg. You don't want that guy. And I'm not saying he's Steve DeBerg. But
you think that the turnovers in the fourth indicate more of who he is than the first 3 quarters?
I'm not saying it indicates. It's just been 3 games. But the fact that he's done it back-to-back games makes me wonder, are you going to do it against Jacksonville too if it's close late? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm watching closely this.
No, I hear. Let's just read the supers and get out. Good stuff today. A 49er fan LA. According to Grant, Brock is the reason the offense is struggling. Also, where was Stroud and Brock poll after the Dallas game 3 weeks ago?
Eat your heart out. Eat your heart out.
What were the numbers on the poll, by the way?
Stroud by a lot. I was being a
Right.
jerk. It was obvious. No one needs to.
You were
Sorry.
you
Sorry.
you
Stroud's
were
good.
leading the witness is what you were.
I was. I was.
Chris Tallarica says Baltimore and Philly are losses. 49ers cannot stop mobile quarterbacks. They need to run Mason more and start throwing to the outside. Kyle is getting way too predictable. I'll say Baltimore is a loss. I really believe that. I think the Niners are going to beat Philly. I really do. I think whatever the Niners A game is going to be this year, if they're going to bring it to the link in Philly, I think Niners win that game against Philly.
I like it.
That
It's
one
a
I
bold
feel
prediction.
good about. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not really into predicting wins and losses of games down the line because I don't even know who's going to be healthy. But I like when you put yourself out there, Larry.
There'll be no Dallas Goedert, and I think Goddard is a major problem for the Niners. So that's kind of another reason I like the Niners there.
That's it. Okay. All right.
That's another one. We'll see.
Shreddy
I've
Murphy.
been wrong before.
No.
Shreddy Murphy says, Grant, can you please ask Kyle Shanahan if he's practicing the 2-minute drill? Also, Ronnie Bell got no screens when Debo was out. Forgot he was on the team, shaking my head. I'm a little surprised that Ronnie Bell has had no role when you see that he might have the best receiving skills of any of their wide receivers. When we're standing there on the sidelines of practice and he's working on the toe tap drill on the sideline, he's the best at it. He's better than everybody else at it.
I'm going to say something. I feel like Jawan Jennings is having a bad year as a receiver, as a blocker. He misses like one block a game. He's responsible for one tackle for loss a game. He's not really getting open. I'd like to see Ronnie Bell in the slot right now. I'd like to see it. I think he's got a little bit more juice. I think you could do a whole lot more with him than you can with Jawan Jennings. Stop being sentimental to players from yesteryear, Kyle. I'm talking about Jawan Jennings and Elijah Mitchell. They don't need to be in the rotation anymore. They're giving you nothing.
Right.
I want to see Jordan Mason and Ronnie Bell on the field.
Don't, make look at watch the game and see what you're seeing. And I agree. I think Ronnie Bell needs time. And I think, I definitely think Mason needs time. Two last ones here. John Muniz, you both are talking like this team is winless. It seems like a couple of weeks ago, this team was the best thing since the game was invented. Kick them while they're down. Oh, come on. Hey, John, I
kick them while they're up.
My whole thing is, we were talking about many of these criticisms all summer. So I would say, listen a little closer.
I kick them while they're up, kick them while they're down. You can't say I only wait till they're down. Nah.
Yeah.
I kick.
Seriously. I've been talking about this run. I'm the one who asked Shanahan about the run defense problems coming out of camp. So, I saw it back then. Chris Tallarico said should have sat Brock with Cincinnati before the bye.
It was such an easy opportunity. You weren't benching him. He was hurt. He got a concussion 6 days. It was so easy. But it felt like, we got to win this game against Cincinnati. And then you lost by 14. It's like, missed opportunity.
The Niners, when they fall behind in games or on the schedule, they start to chase. And you got that. They had a chase feel. 49er fan says, Brock's had only 5 opportunities to come back late in the game. Went 3-5, not bad. Twice in Las Vegas, once in Cleveland. Ugly or not. But he's a choker. LOL. Okay. Nobody's called him a choker.
I'm saying he's a choker. No one says he's a choker, but he choked the last couple of weeks, in my opinion. And now you got to wonder, is this a trend going forward? It's been 2 weeks. He didn't.
It's okay to notice. It's okay to notice that he's had turnovers, but he's not a choker, and nobody called him a choker.
Not yet.
Rodman Sanchez.
Kyle, on the other hand, Kyle is a choker. Until further notice. But Brock, you can't say that yet.
And that's Grant and only Grant. Rodman Sanchez says, hey, Grant, do you still think O.C. McDaniel was a genius 0-3 against the good teams? I believe teams know how to play this offense predicated on room game.
Man. They are kind of fraudulent. Like, they beat bad teams. They smack bad teams. My friend was texting me today, Aaron Pochner. Shout out Aaron Pochner. And he said that Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins really remind him of like Chip Kelly era Oregon. Fast, exciting, really smash bad teams. But anytime they face a legitimate opponent, they lose. And I thought there was something to that. Now, like, their offensive philosophies are different, but the output is kind of the same.
I would say the same problem the Niners are having is the same problem the Dolphins are having, which is you got to have a good offensive line. The offensive line for the Dolphins is not bad, but they're all banged up. The Niners' offensive line's a little questionable. You need a better line. And nobody talks about the line. You only talk about the line when you got it rolling. You don't talk about the line when it's not doing good, and their line stinks.
And that's
and the
my
Niners
problem with the
line's been bad the
Shanahan
last
coaching
month.
tree in general. Like that whole Shanahan coaching tree thinks you can get by or prefers offensive linemen who are not particularly athletic, guys you get in the 4th, 5th round, guys who were redshirted in college, 5-year players. Like, why? Because Mike Shanahan won Super Bowls with that in 1998. Come on, update your philosophy.
2 supers, Mike Medley, $2. Trey Lance looks better than Brock Purdy. And King J, where are you watching, Trey? I'd love to know. King J shows says 49ers just signed Henry Bird to the practice squad. LOL. Take a look at him. Kyle's going to get fired if he doesn't win the Super Bowl this year. LOL. I hope he does. I think I hate him more than you, Grant. Laughing my ass off.
I don't hate Kyle Shanahan. I like Kyle Shanahan. He's fun to criticize. Like, you know how Howard Cosell used to go at Muhammad Ali? He didn't hate Muhammad Ali. He liked being able
Muhammad
to.
Ali.
Yeah.
Henry Bird? Anything? I got nothing on Henry Bird.
Never heard of him.